Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Jaya Radha Gopi Jana Vallabh Radha Gopi Jana Vallabh Radhe. Jaya Nitai Patita Pavan Gaura Hari Jaya Nitai Patita Pavan Gaura Hari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. राधा गोपीजन वल्लभ भगवान की निताय पतित पावन गौर हरि की श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की. Hare Krishna. Once again, welcome everyone on Sunday morning Bhagavatam class. So very grateful for this opportunity to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam. So today we will be discussing Canto 3, Chapter 28, text number 6. This is from Kapil Dev's instruction on devotional service, based on the discussions between Lord Kapil Dev and Mother Devahuti. So I'll be reading this text number 6 from Chapter 28. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhiraye Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtriki. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinim. परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महाविदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरहक्षे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay. So Canto 3, Chapter 28, text number 6. स्वादिष्णयनम् एकदेशे मनसा प्राणधारणम् वैकुण्ठलीला अभिध्यानम् समाधानं तथात्मनः स्वादिष्णयनम् एकदेशे मनसा प्राणधारणम् वैकुण्ठलीला अभिध्यानम् समाधानं तथात्मनः. Anybody would like to receive? स्वादिष्ण्यानम् एकदेशे मनसा प्राणधारणम् वैकुण्ठलीला अभिध्यानम् समाधानं तथात्मनः. स्वादिष्णयानम् एकदेशे मनसा प्राणधारणम् वैकुण्ठलीला अभिध्यानम् समाधानं तथात्मनः. Word by word. Swadhishnayanam, within the vital air circles. Ekadeshe, in one spot. Manasa, with the mind. Prana, the vital air. Dharanam, fixing. Vaikuntha Leela, on the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Abhidhyanam, concentration. Samadhanam, samadhi. Tatha, thus. Atmanah, of the mind. Translation: fixing the vital air and the mind in one of the 6 circles of vital air circulation within the body, thus concentrating one's mind on the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is called samadhi or samadhana of the mind. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. There are 6 circles of vital air circulation within the body. The first circle is within the belly. The second circle is in the area of the heart. The third is in the area of the lungs. The fourth is in the area of palate. The fifth is between the eyebrows. And the highest, the sixth circle, is above the brain. One has to fix his mind and the circulation of vital air and thus think of the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord. It is never mentioned that one should concentrate on the impersonal or void. It is clearly stated, Vaikuntha Leela. Leela means pastime. Unless the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, has transcendental activities, where is the scope of thinking of these pastimes? It is through the process of devotional service, chanting and hearing of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that one can achieve this concentration. As described in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord appears and disappears according to his relationship with different devotees. The Vedic literature contains many narrations of the Lord's pastimes, including the Battle of Kurukshetra and historical facts relating to the life and precepts of the devotees like Prahalad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, and Ambarish Maharaj. One need only concentrate his mind on one such narration and become always absorbed in its thoughts. Then he will be in Samadhi. Samadhi is not an artificial bodily state. It is the state achieved when the mind is virtually absorbed in thoughts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. So this discussion is going on between Lord Kapila Dev and Mother Devahuti. So Lord Kapila Dev is speaking to Mother Devahuti on the process of devotional service. And in this particular chapter, Kapila Dev is describing the process of focusing the mind. So if we see from the first verse in this chapter till now, Kapila Dev is in a sense describing the process of Ashtanga Yoga. Right? So we know the process of yoga as mentioned by the Yoga Sutra. It describes the Ashtanga Yoga process, the 8 limbs of the yoga process. And what are those 8 limbs of the yoga process? So Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pratyahar, Pranayam, Dhyan, Dharana, Samadhi. So these are the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga process. So from the first verse of this chapter till now, actually Kapil Dev is describing these process of Ashtanga Yoga, talking about the Yam and Niyam first, that what to be done, what not to be done, that one should practice celibacy, one should practice forgiveness, one should practice tolerance, and one should not do these such things. And now going forward, Kapila Dev is describing coming to the process of dhyana, dharana, samadhi. So he is describing that one should focus the vital air and the mind in one of the 6 circles of vital air circulation within the body. So in our body, there are chakras, starting from our sacrum, going till the top of the head, above the brain, as Prabhupada is writing in the purport. So one of the chakra is situated at the level of heart. So absorbing or the focusing on the vital air. So that is the process of pranayam. Right? So as in the Ashtanga Yoga process, they talk about the process of pranayam, controlling of the breathing. So controlling of breathing means controlling our vital life air, the incoming and outgoing air. So uplifting that breathing or the focus of that breathing from the lower circle to the topmost circle. So bringing it from the bottom to the level of heart and focusing on the heart, concentrating the mind. So after this process of pranayam, and then comes the state of dhyana, focus, concentrate. So concentrating one's mind on the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So one very significant word used here is Vaikuntha Leela Abhidhyanam. So that is the essence of this verse. We know when we talk about meditation, right, generally we all came with some background understanding about meditation. What did we think about meditation earlier? Or when we talk to any new person, somebody going to yoga, right? There are so many yoga studios now. And this asana in yoga studio, what they do, primarily either talking about some asana, sitting postures, or at the most some breathing technique. So when we talk to somebody about meditation, what is the general answer? So close your eyes, focus on something internally, or they will say focus on some dot on the wall, focus on some candle light, try to get rid of all the thoughts. That's what they think of meditation. So actually, we just had Rath Yatra last Sunday, and in Rath Yatra, we have one area called mantra meditation, the Japa tent. So I happen to be in Japa tent every year, trying to engage new people, newcomers in one round chanting and briefly talking about the process of mantra meditation. So the first question I asked these people, and we focus primarily on Western crowd because Indian people, they don't somehow try to come to the Japa tent. Like, we know about Japa, we can do that. So we try to focus on Western people trying to talk about this process of meditation and chanting. So the first question I asked them, what do you understand about meditation? Everybody has heard the term meditation. And that's what they will describe, that, yeah, we go to some yoga studio and all, and meditation is trying to just remove the thoughts from the mind. And the purpose of meditation is to become peaceful. So that is how they understand about meditation. So meditation here, what Srila Prabhupada is writing or what is described in this verse is dhyana. Dhyana is not on some arbitrary object. Dhyana means concentrating our mind on the activities of the Supreme Lord. Like people do so many process of meditation, Vipassana. People go to Vipassana camp. A 7-day Vipassana camp is complete vow of we call Mona Vrata. And while focusing on Mona, not speaking to anybody, and then just try to get the mind clear of all the thoughts. And that's what they practice. But can we really remove all the thoughts from the mind? Is it possible? No, right? So because when we are thinking or when we have that particular thought, I want to get rid of all the thoughts. I want to get rid of all the thoughts. So that thought itself is going in the mind. So people have so many different conceptions about this process of meditation. And then about these chakras in the body, that, oh, we need to lift the chakras, the vital air from the bottom chakra to the higher chakra. So these chakras, as I said, one is at the sacrum, and then the highest is at the level of brain. And in between, there is a chakra at the level of lungs, at the level of heart, at the level of throat, in the middle of the eyebrows. So in the middle of eyebrows, in normal nomenclature, that chakra is called the third eye chakra. So many people have this conception, we want to open these chakras in the body. And they will say, oh, we want to open the third eye. So somehow they have heard about Lord Shiva's opening the third eye. And they say, we want to open this third eye. We want to open this chakra. Actually, 2 weeks back, I happened to visit IKEA store. So after Sunday Feast program, we directly went to IKEA from here. And as we were on the register, I talking to one of the employee there about particular thing which I was trying to buy. And this person, he saw tilak on my forehead and he started talking to me. He said, do you practice the meditation? Do you guys also open up chakras? Do you know how to open the third eye chakra? So I said, yes, we practice meditation, and our process of meditation, we call something as mantra meditation. So what is this mantra meditation? So this is what we explain in Japa tent also in Rath Yatra. So mantra meditation, we say, yes, meditation is important, but the main purpose of meditation, it is not about just getting the mind rid of all thoughts or to bring peace in mind. Those are the side benefits. Those are the side effect of practicing meditation. What is real meditation? What is the real process of dhyana is to absorb our mind on the Supreme Lord. That is the process of real meditation. And mantra meditation means meditating on the sound vibration. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this mantra, this is non-different from the Supreme Lord and focusing on that sound vibration, that is becoming mantra meditation. So when we are chanting this mantra, our goal should be to focus on this sound vibration. But how many times while doing our chanting, at least I can speak for myself. So how often I am really focused on the sound vibration? Are we really focusing, meditating on that mantra? Or maybe the mantra is going on and meditation is also going on, but not on the mantra, on some different object. And maybe we are meditating, but on something else, maybe something, our to-do list, some other chores. I need to do this. Once I'm done with chanting, I need to do this, I need to do that. So mantra meditation means meditating on that sound vibration, on the holy name. So focusing our mind on the Supreme Lord, that is the purpose of dhyana. Now we use these three terms in Ashtanga Yoga: dhyana, dharana, samadhi. What is the difference between dhyana, dharana, and samadhi?
Dharana means like it fix out in the
Hmm.
dharana means that you achieve a state of really comes up
Hmm.
samadhi is like
So in one sense, three looks pretty much similar only, right? So dhyana, dharana, samadhi. So going higher and higher and higher, basically. So dhyana, in one sense, it's a short-term absorption, right? At least coming to the stage where we can absorb for a short duration of time. Actually, it says dhyana means even if we can concentrate for about 20 to 30 seconds, we can concentrate for that duration of time. That is called dhyana, meditation. And dharana means then dharana karna. When you can absorb, when you can hold on to that state for a longer duration of time. And samadhi, going even higher, when you have total absorption, then you are not disturbed by anything. So in the state of dhyana, our focus is very flickering. It can be disturbed by some external disturbances as well as internal disturbances. Because sometimes there are external disturbances in terms of some noise happening. Some kids are running around and you are trying to meditate, and because of external disturbance, that meditation is broken. And we also have internal disturbances, some internal thoughts going on, some internal desires coming up in the mind, some different ideas coming up in the mind. So both external disturbance and internal disturbances are there. Now coming to the state of dharana, when you are get rid of the external disturbances, now the external disturbances are not disturbing anymore. You can able to focus, but still then some internal disturbance come. Still some thoughts come from the internally, and your meditation is broken. And then going to the stage of samadhi, when we have won over both external disturbances and internal disturbances, that our concentration, our focus is so deep that it's not disturbed. So from the state of dhyana to samadhi, going higher and higher and higher in our absorption. So Kapila Dev actually in this verse is talking about all three here. But first is focusing. I bring focusing on the vital air circulating within the body, then concentrating the mind on the Supreme Lord, and then coming to the stage of samadhi. Now Prabhupada writes one very wonderful statement here, that it is never mentioned that one should concentrate on the impersonal or void. So it is clearly mentioned Vaikuntha Leela. Leela means pastime. So unless the Lord has a personal form, unless he has a personal form, where is the question of performing Leela? So it means the Lord has a personal form and he performing different activities, and that's what we should focus on. So our focus should be on the personal form and the activities of the Supreme Lord. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. So there is no difference between Lord's holy name, his form, his activities, his dham. All are transcendental and they're non-different from each other. When we recite the Namaparad, right, the 10 offenses to the holy name. What is the second offense to the holy name? The second offense. Considering the
To
name of
consider demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma.
independent of the names of Lord Vishnu. And there is another meaning also of this particular second offense to the holy name. The exact Sanskrit verse for this second offense is Shivasya Shri Vishnu Yah Ihan Naam Roop. So the meaning of that is the Lord's name, form are all auspicious, transcendental. And considering if somebody considers the name, form, qualities, pastime of the Lord to be different from the actual form of the Lord, then he also commits an offense to the holy name of the Lord. So the name, form, qualities, pastime of the Lord are all equal. They are non-different from each other. So if somebody thinks that this holy name and the form of the Lord are different, or this name is just some material sound vibration, that is also an offense to the holy name. So our process, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given is to chant the holy name and absorb our mind on the sound vibration. And Prabhupada, with these wonderful statements, he punctures our balloons of misunderstanding. Right? There are so many misunderstandings, and Prabhupada simply punctures those balloons of misunderstanding with these wonderful statements. Where is the question of activities if the Supreme Lord does not even have a form? So it means Supreme Lord has a form. That's how he is performing activities. And why does the Lord appear in this material world? To perform pastimes, to do his Leela, to attract the heart of the devotees. Anugrahaya bhaktana manushim deha ashritam. So Lord appears in this material world to do special, to shower his special mercy on his devotees. Anugrahaya bhaktana. And when the devotees, when the people in general, when they hear about the activities of the Supreme Lord, when they see these particular pastimes of the Supreme Lord, the heart becomes attracted to the Supreme Lord. Ya shrutva tat paro bhavet. So by hearing about these wonderful activities of the Lord, our heart becomes attracted. So the main purpose of the Supreme Lord appearing in this world is to attract our heart, so that we can be absorbed on the Supreme Lord, and in that way we can qualify to reach back to that Supreme Lord. So he doesn't come just to establish dharma, just to destroy the miscreants, just to deliver the pious. Yes, all those activities also Lord does, as he claims in Bhagavad Gita. Right? Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, why do I appear in this material world? The famous shlokas from chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyahi. So these two set of verses, Lord Krishna is saying, why do I appear in this world? Pritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharam sanstapnarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I appear yuga after yuga to destroy the miscreants, to protect my devotees, to establish the principles of religion. But in one sense, those are all the side activities. Lord accomplished those tasks also. But the main purpose of Lord's appearance in this world is to perform his wonderful Leela with his devotees, to attract the heart of everyone. Lord doesn't have to come to kill the miscreants. He can kill the miscreants sitting in his dham also. He is sitting in everybody's heart anyways as Paramatma, and sitting in the heart, he can just give a heart attack to somebody and done, finish. He doesn't have to go. He doesn't have to come here. To protect the devotees, again, for that also he doesn't have to come. The holy name is protecting the devotee. Prahlad Maharaj was chanting the holy name and he was protected. Not that when Narsimha Dev appeared, only then Prahlad was protected. He was anyways getting protected because of the strength of the holy name. And for establishing dharma also, Lord doesn't have to come, because he can send his representative, and through the medium of representative, Lord can establish dharma. So many wonderful acharyas come. Srila Prabhupada, he went across the whole world 14 times, and he gave us whole process of devotional service, gave us all the scriptures, gave us temples, gave us festivals, gave us all this process, how to engage in the service of the Lord. So Lord can accomplish all that task sitting in his abode also. For that, he doesn't have to come. So main purpose is to shower his special mercy on the devotees. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manushim dehamashritaha. So our purpose of meditation and dhyana is to focus on such wonderful activities of the Supreme Lord. So once there was a, how people actually, how they try to come up with their different ideas of, oh, the process of meditation means this particular thing, or meditation means this particular activity. So people have their own different concoctions. There is a very wonderful story to illustrate this point, how people try to concoct their own ideas. So once there was a small boy, and this boy had a boil on his leg, little foda with some pus filled in that. So this boil is becoming so big, and there is so much pain and so much burning sensation happening on that boil. And this boy is crying in pain. And the sister, this boy's elder sister, she sees this boy, my brother is suffering, he's having so much pain and so much burning sensation. And she thought, oh, I have read somewhere in the science book that if there's some burning sensation, you put some ice, and that will give some relaxation. So she got some ice, wrapped it in some cloth, and put it on the boil. So immediately, for some time, there was some relief from that burning sensation. And after few minutes, after 30 minutes or so, again, this boy is having so much burning sensation, and maybe this boil became even bigger by absorbing some water, more pus increased. So the problem increased further. And our mother is thinking, oh, my son is crying so much, he's so much pain. And what should I do? So she also consulted some elderly of the family, some home remedies. And she put some neem leaves by putting some turmeric on that, heat it up, that leaf, and put it on the boil. So she did some home remedy, and for some time, this boy had some relief. So pain went down, or the burning sensation went down. After some time, again, the boy is shouting in pain, crying, and suffering. And after some time, the uncle came, the mother's brother, and he saw this boy suffering so much. There is a big boil in the leg, and he is crying and shouting in pain like anything. And he said, based on his concoctions, he thought, oh, this boy is suffering so much. It's hard to tell this thing to me, to you, but I will anyway say. So better is just kill the boy. He will be relieved from his suffering. What are you saying? Kill the boy? Are you crazy? So then the mother finally thought, let me call the doctor, surgeon, and who can do some small surgery and maybe remove this boil, and the boy may be out of his suffering condition. So they called the surgeon. The surgeon came, he opened his toolbox. He's taking out his little knife or scissor, and the boy is getting again scared. Oh, my uncle was just telling, kill the boy. Are they going to kill me or what? So this doctor came, okay, just keep calm and just cooperate. So the doctor took his surgery knife and slowly removed that small area of his boil and removed all the pus, cleaned it up completely, and then did some bandage and all. And in some time, the boy got cured. So people try to come up with all their different concoctions here. So what does these 4 different things which we mentioned in the story, what this 4th thing represent? So first thing we talked about, the sister trying to help the boy, putting some ice thing. So first of all, this boy who is suffering with this boil, pus, having so much pain and miserable condition, all of us in this material world, we have some problems. We have some misery. One way or other, some problems come in life, and we are so much tormented by all these different miseries. And then the sister who tried to put some ice cubes on that to remove some miserable condition, what does that represent? That represent some of our scientific advancement. And based on our scientific invention, scientific advancement, we try to solve the problems in this world. But we try to solve one problem, it gives rise to another problem. Just the example is transportation. So trying to solve the problem of transportation, we invented so many things, the automobiles, cars, and all that. So it's, yes, it is helping in one way. It is solving the problem of transportation. Now we can travel far and beyond in so short duration, but it's increasing another problem. Solve one problem, give rise to another problem. So it is causing the problem of so many accidents happening, road accidents happening, even in the sky, the aircrafts gliding and all that, or mishaps happening. And then the problem of the environment, the pollution increasing so much. So try to solve one problem, give rise to another problem. That is the scientific solution. Then the second thing, some home remedies she was trying to do. So same way we have been following some superstition things. People say, oh, you do this, it will solve your this problem. Or you do this karma kanda, you do this particular ritual, it will solve your problem. Yes, it can solve the problem for some time. Again, it gives rise to the problem. Again, some other misery comes. Then the third thing in this story, in this analogy, was the uncle comes. He says, kill the boy. That thing is some impersonalists, they come with the idea, oh, you just get rid of your individuality. You merge with the impersonal, because as long as you have your individuality, your existence, some way or other problem will remain, some misery will remain. So better is to get rid of your individuality, merge in the impersonal, in the void, in the Brahmajyoti. So they come with this idea. That's what their process of dhyana is. Dhyana means to absorb something on the impersonal, on some light, on some Brahmajyoti. That is process of dhyana. They will concoct their idea. And then the fourth thing is the doctor. The doctor came, he brought his surgical knife, and he operated on that boy to remove that particular thing. That doctor represents the bona fide guru. The bona fide guru with his statements, with sometimes his very strong words also. So the surgical knife represents the strong words of the guru. Sometimes the guru will speak some strong words also, and Krishna also uses the strong word many times. Mudhas, you rascals, you fools. And Prabhupada also used to have these statements many times to puncture the bubble of our misunderstanding. So this doctor represents the guru. With his strong statements, they remove our ignorance, they remove our bubbles of misunderstanding, and they cure us of our disease. And they show us the right way, that you need to focus on the Supreme Lord. Develop your lost relationship with the Supreme Lord, and that is how you can become eternal happy. So Srila Prabhupada has given so many these wonderful statements in the purport, so many wonderful small stories. Through those stories, Prabhupada mentioned so many wonderful points. And in Chaitanya Leela, there is another small story actually. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he is talking to Sanatan Goswami, when he is instructing Sanatan Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells one very small story. He says, once there was a poor man. This poor man had all the problems of roti kapda makan. He has no place to live. He has nothing to eat. He has no proper clothes to wear. So this poor man, because he is suffering, and he goes to an astrologer in the village. Sometimes it happens, right? When somebody has so many problems in life, they want to approach an astrologer, some jyotishi, to find out, mera koi grah bhari hai kya? Is there some shani or some effect going on? So they want to consult an astrologer to find out when my miserable situation will be gone, for how long I have to continue like this. So this poor man went to the astrologer, and the astrologer told this man, actually, you are suffering because you do not know you have a hidden treasure. Your father was a rich merchant, and he had amassed a lot of wealth. While he was traveling to a foreign country, foreign land, actually he died in an accident, and he couldn't tell you where that treasure is. Because that treasure is hidden for you, you are not able to utilize that treasure. That's why you are in this miserable situation. So you need to find that hidden treasure. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells this story. And what is the meaning implied behind this story is, we are all the poor people suffering in this material world. And we need to approach that astrologer. Who's that astrologer? Not really some Jyotishi, but approaching a guru. And the Guru tells you have a hidden treasure. And what that treasure is? Our relationship with the Supreme Lord. We need to find that hidden treasure. We need to reestablish our relationship with the Supreme Lord. And then that will be the end, the full stop to all our miserable situation in this material world. So like that, there are so many small stories indicating to our goal of human life. Our goal of human life is not to just become successful in this material world, not to gain name and fame, not to gain wealth, but to develop that lost relationship with the Supreme Lord. So how much time we have? Can we? No, it's up to you. It's up to the audience. Okay, so we are almost there. Okay, so coming back to this particular verse then, here Kapila Dev is instructing to Mother Devahuti about the process of Ashtanga Yoga and very clearly mentioning the purpose of dhyana is to absorb our mind onto the various activities of the Supreme Lord. That is the real dhyana. And Prabhupada is writing in the purport, there are so many wonderful activities of the Lord with his devotees like Prahalad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Amrish Maharaj. If we focus on these activities, any of these activities, even one of these particular pastime, in that way we can completely concentrate our mind on the Supreme Lord. So the dhyana can be attained in any stage. While cooking also, we can be in the state of dhyana. Right? While focusing on the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. While chanting, we can be in dhyana. While serving the deities, we can be in dhyana. While listening to Krishna Katha, while sitting in Bhagavatam class, our Bhagavad Gita class, that also we can be in dhyana. Dhyana is concentrating our mind on the Supreme Lord. So with how much rapt attention do we really hear? Hearing, the process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, that itself becomes as a dhyana. Only condition is how attentively do we hear? Right? If we are completely focused on hearing, sitting 1 hour in the class, that's also 1 hour dhyana. And our hearing process, so we need to work on our hearing process to improve our hearing, improve our quality of chanting. Parikshit Maharaj, when he was hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we know what was his concentration. Right? He is hearing with rapt attention. Shukdev Goswami, sometimes he mentions one thing in a very brief thing. And Parikshit Maharaj immediately will interrupt. Oh, you just mentioned this thing. Can you elaborate? Don't rush. Please speak elaborately. Please describe this pastime in more detail. So he is not just thinking, oh, somehow I need to pass these 7 days and I need to just finish off this thing. He is completely absorbed in that. Parikshit Maharaj tells, Shukdev Goswami tells Parikshit Maharaj, it's been 4 or 5 days when they enter into the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Parikshit Maharaj, Shukdev Goswami tells Parikshit Maharaj, right? If you want, you can take some break. You have been hearing so long. It's been 4 days, 4 nights. Now some jalpan, take a break for some water, some eating something. No, I don't need anything. I am drinking the nectar from your lotus lips. I do not need to eat or drink anything else. Please continue speaking about the glorious activities of the Supreme Lord. So focusing on our mind on the activities of the Supreme Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was residing in Jagannath Puri, every afternoon, after taking his bath in the ocean, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will go to home, Gadadhar Pandit. And he will hear Bhagavatam from Gadadhar. And whenever Mahaprabhu comes and say, now speak on Bhagavatam, Gadadhar Pandit will say, Mahaprabhu, what will you like to hear? So today, what will you like to hear? He says, speak Prahlad Charitra. Speak Dhruva Charitra. So Mahaprabhu heard Prahlad Charitra, Dhruva Charitra 100 times. And still he is saying, please speak again on Dhruva Charitra, Prahlad Charitra. Because no matter how many times we hear these pastimes, These are ever fresh. In this world, people also want to hear. Everybody want to hear something. Right? They want to read the newspaper. They want to read some film magazine, some Stardust or something. That is also katha. They want to hear, they want to read something. But that is all waste of time. That is nonsense. Because news, first of all, we say news, newspaper. New. What is new mean? Naya, kuch naya chahiye. If you give a 2-day old newspaper to somebody, what will they say? ये तो 2 दिन पुराना है, आज का लाओ. Give me today's newspaper. ये तो पुराना हो गया. Nobody want to read newspaper which is few days old. And people want to watch movies. They want to hear some filmy songs. They cannot keep watching same movie. They cannot keep hearing same song. After a few days, they want a new song. They want a new movie. So people want something fresh. But in spiritual life, you keep hearing same things. You keep hearing same pastimes of the Lord. You keep chanting the same mantra that's ever fresh. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was hearing these pastime again and again, same pastimes. And somehow what happens with us, we think, Are, ye to sun rakha. I have heard Bhagavatam once. I have heard this Bhagavad Gita. I have heard this class on this chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So our problem is because we have not developed that taste. Again, I'm speaking for myself here. That I need to develop that taste for the process of Shravanam and Kirtanam. And if we can absorb our concentration, our focus in the activities of the Supreme Lord, that is the transcendental absorption on the Supreme Lord. That is the real process of Samadhi. So I will stop it here. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Please forgive me if I spoke anything wrong. Please correct me. Please feel free to add anything. Yes, Prabhu.
Somebody leaves of the body prematurely. They will live in ghostly bodies.
If somebody leaves the body prematurely,
They live in ghostly bodies.
they live in ghostly body.
At the time when Paramatma is present,
Yes, Paramatma is, see, now, I don't want to speak something which I am not aware of or experienced of. So the scripture, the philosophy says Paramatma is there every time with us. Paramatma doesn't leave us at any time. Right? He is always accompanying the jiva.
now half of something.
Yes. So the subtle body itself also, it's not a 0-1. It's not a black and white thing. So subtle also, there are different grades of subtle. So subtler to subtle. So the ghastly body, that's a subtle body, but still that subtle body is different from our absolute subtle body in the spiritual world. So ghastly body, the ghost body, right? That is also, there is some material element still there in that. So when somebody prematurely leaves the body, as Prabhuji is mentioning, so he may attain to a body of a ghost. He may have to live in that form. Somebody committing some suicide, right? In that particular stage, somebody has been given a particular life form and he commits suicide or something, then he has to live for the remaining duration in just this subtle body, where he is present maybe in the element of air, ether, not having the gross element of earth, fire. So that level of subtle body is there, but Paramatma is there accompanying the individual living entity Jiva in all situations. Anything else?
I'd like to find Paramatma, the soul of the soul.
Paramatma is the
Soul of the soul.
soul of the soul, yes. Yeah, because of the presence of Jiva, we say this body becomes animate, this particular body. So because without the presence of soul, this body is inactive. So once the soul enters the body, that time also it's not that immediately the body becomes active. Just because of the presence of soul also, the body is not active. Then the Paramatma enters in the body, Paramatma is also there, then the body actually becomes active. So that's why it says Paramatma is the soul of the soul, right? Because of him, actually, the soul also becomes active. Okay. You want to add anything else, Prabhu?
More time we can meditate, concentrate. So, so many times we're doing something, but the absorption is not there. The deep absorption is not there. Because whenever you can get absorbed, means for sure you're going to be deep. So the question is, how can the absorption become deep? What activity distract us from absorption? Of course, another point. There's no like watching the movie going on that a standard emotion that it's cultivated by emotion that you can so how can you improve the absorption?
Yeah, that's our whole process of Krishna consciousness to develop that more and more absorption. So Shamusha Prabhuji's question is, yes, we are doing certain activities, we get little kind of meditate on some for small duration, but how to continue to develop more and more absorption. So our more and more absorption, and first of all, why the concentration gets disturbed. Right? The concentration gets disturbed because of our external disturbances as well as internal disturbances. Even though right now we may not be absorbing in some activities such as watching movies or watching something else, doing such activities, but still from the previous conditioning, there are so many impressions stored in our mind. Right? Let's say I have not heard the song for last 10, 12, 15 years. Earlier, what happens is before coming to the process of Krishna consciousness, when you're going on a drive, when you're driving to office or going on a vacation, first thing is you put some filmy songs in the car, right? That's what people generally do. They will put some movie song, something. So even though, let's say now we have not heard any songs, but still it happens sometimes some song will come in the mind, even though you're not consciously thinking of something, still internally some thought will come. You have not even thought about that, indulge into that. So why is that? Because there are so many impressions stored in our memory for so long. And now what we are trying to do, our Krishna consciousness, is to delete those previous impressions and build the new impressions, right? By engaging in this process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Padasevanam, all these activities, serving the deities, doing some other services, process of hearing, chanting, all this is we are trying to erase our previous mundane impressions and build new impressions now. But nonetheless, all those previous impressions, some of the impressions are still there, and sometimes those thoughts will come in the mind. Sometimes those different memories will come and they will disturb us. That's why I say the desires may come from outside also, desires may come from inside also. Sometimes the desire come from outside. We see something and we get the desire to get that particular object. Let's say somebody came to your home, has knocked on the door, some salesman showed you some new object or this new product has come in the market. So by seeing this external thing, we get some desire, but sometimes the desire will come from within because of our previous stored memories, previous stored impressions. Oh, in the past, I used to do like this. Oh, I used to go on vacation like this with my family or something. Oh, with my friends, I used to do this activity. So these previous impressions are there, and sometimes those impressions come out. So that's how our absorption get disturbed. And the whole process is to develop that more and more taste for Krishna consciousness, more and more taste in serving the Lord, in hearing about the Lord. And the only remedy is continue to engage in the process of Shravanam Kirtanam. And more we hear, more we chant, we are going to develop that taste more and more. So that is my understanding, Prabhuji. Please correct me. Please add if you would like to add anything more.
What can I do? About
No, Prabhuji, you are doing much better than all of us here. You are showing us the way actually how to serve the deities, how to engage in remembering the Lord.
but it's very touching that one day. So sometimes I feel that if you absorb your mind continuously for 1 to 2 weeks,
Hmm.
then for next 1 to 3 4 hours, it will be,
Yes.
your mind is very useful.
Hmm.
Like I was thinking about myself, the situation is that if we cannot absorb the mind, the lots of things continuously, we are saying about planning for a mind. Wow, like you cannot absorb, if you absorb that, like I think when you can absorb that, then sometimes what is really like
Yes, yes, bro. So
it's like I was thinking like the it gets so close but yet it's so far.
yeah. Yeah. So that's why I have attended some retreats with the Rompad Maharaj, the festival of holy name retreats. So in those retreats, sometimes Maharaj will tell the methods, right? How to increase our focus on the holy name. So one thing, one of the formula is one mantra at a time. Right? Just focus on one mantra at a time. Don't think, oh, I have 16 rounds to do. I have this whole mala with 108 mantras. Just think of one mantra. Oh, this is the last mantra I'm going to chant. Just focus on that mantra, then the next mantra. So in that way, just one mantra at a time. If we can focus on one mantra at a time, at least have that concentration on one mantra and continue like that. In that way, we can absorb on the holy name.
Recently I think the other way my class also.
Hmm.
You are saying Hindi, Katha ka varta hona chahiye.
Katha ka varsha hona chahiye. Yes.
There should be a continuous shower.
Hmm.
That is right. Otherwise, I'm just saying this here and then you have to be starting a Parishit Maharaj. The Parishit Maharaj is with you continuously for 4 days and after that you want to eat and you eat again. So I was thinking that yeah, I like
When will I get that state? When will I get that taste? So that's my state also. Right? Our goal should be, okay, can I get that little taste for the holy name? As Maharaj has said, Maharaj is saying Katha ka varsha hona chahiye. So we are all like, again, for myself, I'm speaking, we are like the pot with holes in that. Right? You fill the water in the pot, if it has holes, the water just drains out. You again fill it again, because of the holes, it will drain out. So the best way is to keep that pot filled is keep the pot dipped inside the water. So if you keep the pot dipped in the water, it will be full with water. So that is the meaning of Katha ka varsha hona chahiye. Constantly we keep hearing, more and more we are engaged in hearing, we will be continuously absorbed in that. I remember Jugal Kishore was a few days back in the meeting, he was mentioning that somehow we do not have that taste to attend classes after class after class. We attend one class and after that we think, oh, done now, it's too much. Right? Sometimes in retreat, what happens is there are 4 or 5 classes in a day. One after another, there are some classes going on, some Krishna Katha, some absorption in the pastime or in the philosophy is going on. But after hearing little bit, we think, oh, it's too much now. Now I want to go and do something else, some other activity. So that's why we need to develop that desire and the taste for hearing, that ruchi. Okay, thank you very much, bro. I will also now meditate on that one to develop that longer concentration in the process of Shravanam Kirtanam.
I was thinking that I was thinking to go and read Upadesh Amrita, right? That five stages, remember.
Hmm.
So it is interrupted, uninterrupted, then.
Yes.
I was thinking that actually about
Hmm.
like you said, you mentioned one path, even one path. That
Yes.
you meditate on. So it's very powerful. Thank you, Prabhu. I agree.
Yes. Thank you Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity to speak so that I can myself absorb in some reading and some listening. So, anybody online? Any questions? Sorry, I didn't ask earlier.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nice class. It was. Thank you for sharing nice stories and experiences and enlightening us. Grateful to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.